They surprised me with a cupcake. I love that. I did not see it coming, but I just look at this. Look at that. They were not running a second ago. They were not running a second ago. We walked all the way over here. Literally got turned around. And the second we get to Hollywood Studios, the Skylander's running again. That's exactly my luck. That is exactly my luck.
That was not my smartest move in the world. Alright, let's go. And why am I having so much trouble with this? What is this? I can beat this in less than a minute normally. Whee!
Oh, well, Pancake's not here, now it's gonna be delayed again.
Is it?
I can still hear you, moron!
Then speak up!
Oh, wow. Shot feed these oral cans.
Please keep that in the video, that was too good.
No.
Yes.
Testing, 1, 2, 3, is this working? Looks like it's working. Yay! Hello, everyone, here to you, and welcome to something very special. This is our 100th Gator stream. So, yeah, that's pretty exciting, kind of. Today is going to be very special because, first of all, today is the 11th anniversary of me starting my YouTube channel. Even though our Let's Plays started in February, the channel itself opened in January. So, today's the 11th anniversary, so that's pretty cool. And to celebrate that, we're going to be bringing back random number gaming. For those of you who, excuse me, for those of you who haven't seen random number gaming on the channel before, basically the idea behind it is that we have a list of 100 plus games on a Google Sheet document thing, and we use RNG to decide what we'll be playing every episode. So the games you'll see on screen right now, these are the ones that were either randomly generated or ones that were on my list to make a note to play next time. So the ones that were randomly generated were SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, Xenoblade was one that we made a list to play next time, and Spyro is my personal pick. I don't usually do personal picks on random number gaming, but this one is very special because Spyro the Dragon was supposed to be the first game we would have been playing on a stream, but back then my capture card wasn't really that great, and the thing with the... hold on a second. Sorry about that background noise. So, yeah, Spyro was what I was supposed to be playing, and one moment, please. Noises I make while thinking. Ebony Devil.
No. This is Tower of Grey.
In what world is it a tower? In what world is it a tower? It's a bug!
Yep, this is Tower of Grey.
In what world is it a tower? Just explain its ability.
So, are you happy that are you happy that I showed you that?
No, it's a bug.
But it's Tower of Grey.
Tower of Grey. It's a bug. think it's okay now. Sorry about that. Background noises and things like that. But yeah, anyway, Random Number Gaming. We're playing Spyro the Dragon because this is what we were supposed to play in the very first stream all that time ago. The thing back then, though, was that my computer wasn't strong enough to run my capture card and my streaming system and things like that at the same time. So I thought this would be a fun way to kind of show how we've grown on streaming and things like that over time and things like that. So, without further ado, let's play the original Spyro the Dragon. Now, we'll be playing this game for about 20 minutes or so. We might play a little longer, depending on how long I feel like playing. But without further ado, let's make sure the thing's actually working. Okay, everything's looking good. Okay, now let's play.
Okay, rolling.
Oh, it's been peaceful here in the Five Worlds, or is it 6? For a dragon's age. We now have 12,000 treasure, or is it 14,000? What about this Ganasty Gnorc character? Now, I understand he's found a magic spell to turn gems into warriors for his cause.
I'll take that question. Nasty Nork is a simple creature. Simple? He has been contained in a remote world and is no threat to the Dragon Kingdom. No threat! Besides, he is ugly. Ugly? That does it!
Looks like I've got some things to do.
Looks like we've got some things to do indeed. Alright, so Spyro the Dragon. I'm not going to be staying quiet for every single cutscene in the game, but we're playing this game for the next 20 minutes or so. We'll try to get through as much as we can, but Spyro the Dragon is one of my personal favorite games on the PlayStation. This isn't one that I exactly grew up on, but I did start playing this one when I was like a teenager or whatever, so that was pretty cool. And this was one of the games where like I started playing through it and I instantly fell in love with it. And I knew after completing my first playthrough that I wanted to do a Let's Play this game. So we did do a Let's Play this game. Around 2015 or so, we did a Let's Play alongside Super Mario 64. Now, I don't think a lot of my earlier work was all that great and things like that, so the Spyro the Dragon videos may be a little bit hard to go back to nowadays if you want to watch that Let's Play, but honestly, I do think that was kind of in the era where I do think my videos were starting to get just a little bit better. So, at least comparable to some of my other older videos and things like that, that one's at least a little bit watchable nowadays. I don't think it's anything amazing or anything like that. Like, it definitely isn't one of my best Let's Plays, but like, it was still a pretty fun time, and I had a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, it's gonna be a pretty fun time all around. G8RStream Productions, welcome to the stream. And like, it just feels really fun knowing this is like the 100th stream that we've done and things like that. So, yeah, like, this is gonna be a pretty fun time all around. Now, one of my bigger goals for this year is that I'm going to try to do live streams a bit more frequently throughout the year. Okay, I'm going to see if I can remember this pattern. Like, you're supposed to do like a set pattern. Maybe you're not supposed to do a set pattern. Maybe you're just supposed to just jump on all these. Yay, we did it! Yeah, that's what happens after you play this game a million times. You just kind of know everything. So, yeah, I love Spyro the Dragon. This is one game that I have thought about doing a redux of lately, like what we did with Toy Story 2 and things like that. So, ooh, there's no loading screen whatsoever. I forgot about that. Well, that was interesting. I wasn't expecting to go immediately into the game. So, yeah. That's fun thing about Spyro the Dragon is that it doesn't really have a whole lot of loading screens or anything like that. You do have the transitions between worlds and things like that. I didn't expect to go into the level so quickly, so that was a little bit on the unexpected side of things. Now, I'm pretty sure in the Reignite trilogy, you have the option to start running alongside the track. You don't have to glide across the entire thing. I think we might be going like a bad route for that, but it should be okay. Now we're going to want to head back over here. Let's head over towards the gates real quick. Or actually, these might be a little faster for us. The big thing about the flying missions is that you want to try to find a good and efficient route to get everything in these levels. Now, these can definitely be a bit of a headache, but I think they can be pretty fun and things like that. We messed up. Okay, we're not going to get it this time, but the fun thing about these ones is trying to find like that route that'll make it so you can get through everything quickly and things like that. Now, I know that there's like an official recommended route and things like that. I don't care about that. I want to do it the way I want to because I like playing these games. So the flying missions themselves do return in later Spyro games. They changed them a little bit in Ripto's Rage because in that one, they updated it so that after you complete the main flying mission, you'll be given the option to go back into the level later, and then you'll get like a special next mission. So you'll have things like, we already got all the barrels, what am I doing? You'll have all the things like, I completely forgot we can fly faster with the X button. Is this in the original trilogy? I don't remember this being in the remake. Anyway, that's not important. So, yeah, they did that in Ripto's Rage. I don't know if that's the case in You're the Dragon, but that is something that's pretty interesting. I do kind of wish it was the opposite way, though, where when you go into the level, it gives you the mission first, and then it gives you the challenge to get everything, because I feel like it would have been better to do it that way, because doing it that way would have made it so that you could get familiar with the level before you're kind of challenged to do everything. Now, this is the part that always trips me up. Like, I never know whether to go for the boats or whether to go for the treasure chests or the blades first. Like, that's something that's going to take some trial and error. Let's go down here and take care of the treasure chest first and then head back out. So it's not going to take a whole lot of effort. I say that and then I crash immediately. This isn't Crash Bandicoot, this is Spyro the Dragon. We're not supposed to crash. That is what we like to call an obvious joke. And that is what we like to call doing the same mistake twice in a row because we are stupid. Alright then. Now, as for this game itself, the cool thing about Spyro the Dragon is that it was very ahead of its time. So it introduced a lot of really cool mechanics for game development and things like that. So around this time, a lot of games had used a system called fogging, where whenever something was like off in the distance and it wasn't loaded into the game, it would kind of look like there was like a thick fog covering the world. Now, this was fine for the time, but as the technology got more advanced and things like that, developers were looking for ways to kind of mask loading times and things like that. And this game implemented a truly innovative mechanic where everything would still be on screen, but the stuff that would be further off in the distance would have a lower polygon count. So that's why when you fly closer to things like the ground over here, it becomes a bit more detailed as you get closer to it. Now, I really like that. It is so ahead of its time, and it's really cool. Now, this isn't the first game to implement that. I believe Mario 64 did that long before Spyro the Dragon did. But this is like one of the very first games that really implemented it at the entire thing and things like that. So this really was a pretty innovative game for the time. It's still pretty fun to go back to. Like a lot of PlayStation games, the problems with them is that they could be really fun. Like I love the original Tomb Raiders. They could be a little bit hard to go back to for newer people though, because they'll have like some kind of weird control thing, or the save systems are weird or things like that. Spyro the Dragon feels like it could have been made yesterday, and that's pretty impressive for a PlayStation game that's like about my age. So yeah, that's something that's pretty interesting. Alright, so we'll head up top over here. We're gonna go for these gates next, and then after this, like, maybe we should have gone for the planes next. That probably would have been the smarter decision to go with our life, but well. Okay, we're gonna take care of that, and then would be the, oh no, this is not gonna be a good sign. I never liked going after these planes. These planes are a pain. They're a pain in the patootie. Okay, we missed that one. But it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world if we failed miserably. Okay, one more plane. Okay, we should be able to get it this route. We should be able to get it that route. We missed that train, but it should be okay. Because if we go through here quickly with no rap music or flash dancing, we should be okay. We can do this. I believe in us. We have the powers to do anything if we have ice cream. Where's the next train? Okie dokie, one more. You're over there. Come on.
Yeah! We did it!
The power of ice cream triumphs over all. Alright, we are not going to try again because we should probably move on with some other levels so that we can have time to actually do stuff. Threes Productions is asking, are there any games you want to play in 2023? I'm very excited for Tears of the Kingdom. Like, that's probably the obvious one because Zelda's my favorite thing in the world. But, like, I'm really excited. I haven't really talked about my thoughts on it in videos that much, though, because we're still Let's Playing Breath of the Wild, and I'd kind of rather wait until, like, not discuss my theories on a sequel in the middle of the game. So that's something that's pretty noteworthy and things like that. I do have one theory. So there is like the one trailer where you see the statue, the murals of the ancient civilizations and things like that. And I have a theory that it may be connected to like the Amber relics and Dusk relics and things like that from Skyward Sword, because it's the same symbol, and it's all surrounding one of the figures on the mural. So that's also making me wonder if that might be implying those will be like MacGuffins that you'll be looking for throughout the game. So I'm wondering if that also could potentially mean we'll get traditional dungeons again in Tears of the Kingdom. I don't know if it's going to like confirm it or anything like that, but it is something that I've been thinking about today. Alright, so for the actual enemies themselves with these guys, the metal ones, you're going to want to charge them with your horn, but the larger ones are going to, you want to attack with your fire. That's basically the law of Spyro the Dragon, so that's pretty cool. There are going to be enemies later in the game where they'll have like front-facing armor, but they'll be like super big and things like that, so it'll be a little bit tricky to figure out how to deal with those ones, but you should like at some point be able to like get around them and defeat them that way. So that's pretty interesting. I will say the enemy variety in this game could be a little bit better because you don't really have a whole lot of combat things in this game. But for a first game in the series, it's not too bad. I'm not going to complain about it too much. Now, this game, a lot of people debate over which of the original Spyro games in the trilogy were the best ones. I personally think that the original is the best. Like, the first Spyro the Dragon is my personal favorite of the trilogy. Now, I know that it's probably going to be like a somewhat of a hot take and things like that, because there's a lot of people who say they prefer Ripto's Rage or Year of the Dragon. Now, I like those games. Now, my problem with Ripto's Rage, though, is that, like, I'm not that fond of the mission structure, because they don't make it entirely clear when you go into a new world what all your missions are supposed to be. So that's a little bit on the unfortunate side. I think Year of the Dragon is a little bit better in that regard, but the big thing that annoys me about that game is that Alora's not in it, and Moneybags is. It's like, in what world was it ever a good idea to bring back Moneybags and Hunter, who are like the two worst characters in the previous game, but you don't bring back the best one? Like, what the heck? Why is that a thing? That's super annoying and stuff. But it's not like that big of a deal or anything like that. It's just something that, it's just a minor thing that I'm going to rationally complain about for the rest of my life, because I have nothing better to do. That's called being on the internet. Alright, so that's over this way. We got some more jams. I always thought the jams looked like those Gusher candies. Like, when you look at those jams, can't you just see them and like just want to like bite into it? It'd be like the juiciest candy in the world. Like, it just looks so tasty. Now, as for some other games this year that I'm looking forward to, later in this month, there's the Persona ports for Switch. Like, I'm really looking forward to Persona 4 Golden on Switch and things like that, because like I love that game. So I'm really excited to be able to play that on Switch now. And beyond that, I don't really know a whole lot of other games that I'd be looking forward to. Like, Fire Emblem Engage would probably be fun. I've never beaten a Fire Emblem game before, so I'm not sure how far I'd get into that game. I'm not saying that's bad or anything like that. I'm just saying that I've never beaten a Fire Emblem game or anything like that. But, oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about this. Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 is coming out this year, and I am super excited about that. Because, man, we've been teased about Pikmin 4 forever, and the fact that it's finally happening, like, I'm super excited about that. I don't really know what kind of, like, new Pikmin they could introduce in the new game, but there's one idea that I do kind of hope that they do, where I've been kind of hoping that there'd be, you know how, like, Olimar and Louie, in Pikmin 2 and things like that, they'll explore the planet during the day, because there's nocturnal animals at night that'll eat your Pikmin and things like that. So what I've always wanted to see like a separate set of crew and Pikmin who could work during the night. So you'd have Olimar and Louie during the day, and then you'd have like the night shift captains who could have like special exclusive Pikmin. So let's say you have the regular red Pikmin who can go out during the day, but then you have like a burgundy Pikmin who can go out during the night. So like, I think that'd be really interesting. It'd be a really cool way to introduce some new Pikmin without having to struggle with the fact that Pikmin are limited to 200 on the field. That's also something that could be pretty interesting. Like, do you think they'll raise the limit on how many Pikmin you can have on the field? Because that was one thing that I was wondering about Pikmin 3, but then they kept the limit at 100, but they didn't have purple or white Pikmin in the campaign. So I'm wondering if that's going to be the same case too with Pikmin 4. Alright, do we have the key or not? We have the key. Yay! Ah, we ran head face into a wall. Doctor said not to get wall in the head. Alright, so let's head over this way. If you'd like to play Spyro the Dragon today, the best option I could recommend would definitely be the Reignited trilogy, because it may be a little bit tricky to play the original version nowadays if you don't have the consoles for it. I think, I'm stressing this, I think, it's on PlayStation Store, so if you have PS3 or PS Vita or something like that, it might be available there. Actually, no, it's not on Vita, so that's not true. It's not on Vita, it might be on PS3. I don't know if it's entirely the case though, but if you at least have a PS2, you should be able to play it, because that's what I'm currently using right now. I'm recording this off by PlayStation 2 and things like that, so that's pretty interesting. So, yeah. Now, as for the exact version I'd recommend, I think the Reignited trilogy has a few more quality of life improvements over the very original versions. Nostalgia-wise, though, I gotta say I prefer the original, because I just like the PlayStation look a bit more than the Reignited trilogy graphics. Now, the Reignited trilogy definitely does look very pretty and things like that, so if you do want to play Reignited trilogy, then that's definitely a good way to go. Alright, so we're going to play through one more level, and then we're going to switch over to our next game on the list. First of all, we're going to be going over this way. And heading over here. Okay, never mind. Okay, I keep thinking Reignited trilogy stuff, because you press the triangle button to do like a little hop to go further, and this makes this jump right here like super easy. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So going over this way, after we defeat one of the bosses and things like, after we defeat one of the levels, we should be able to open up this dragon head, which will take us to another level. Now before we go in there, I should demonstrate some other things over here too. So over here, we have the next level, Stone Hill. I think that's supposed to be the first world to go through, but I always go through Dark Hollow first, because I kind of like that one a little bit more than Stone Hill. So, yeah, that's something that's pretty interesting. Now, do I want to get all the rest of the gems in the main world and then head over to the boss, or what do I want to do with that? Well, we're going to continue exploring this area over here, so we might as well get all the gems while we can. Now, as for my history with Spyro the Dragon, at first I got introduced with this series because I don't know exactly where I heard it from, but I just kind of knew that Spyro the Dragon existed because, like, my family loved video games and things like that, and there were games coming out about a cute purple dragon that I always wanted to play, but we never had the ability to get them. We did have one toy, so there was this one Happy Meal for McDonald's that was promoting Spyro Orange and Crash Purple. So they had these little LCD games. They were kind of like a Game & Watch, but they were made specifically for Spyro and Crash. They weren't exactly Game & Watches, but I think it was like the same basic idea behind them. So they were made for McDonald's Happy Meal toys. I don't remember much about them. I do remember thinking that getting bored with them quickly, because it is like a kind of like a cheap LCD game and things like that, and there really wasn't much to it. But I kind of also been wanting to look for another one recently, just for the sake of having it and things like that. I don't know, I'm weird, because like there'll be things like that I'll think of every now and then from like my childhood. They'll be like, you know what, maybe I want to try finding another one of those again, because that might be cool. Because like recently, for my sister, I got her the strategy guide for Tomb Raider Legend. She's played that game more times than I have, and like she doesn't actually need the strategy guide, but it's the same one that we had when we were kids. So that was pretty fun and things like that. Because back in my day, we had strategy guides, because if we were stuck on the game, we didn't have this fancy internet let's playing thing to watch and things like that. And we liked it. Alright, so we're gonna go into the boss fight, and then we're gonna call it quits for this game, and then we're moving on to the next one. We'll be going a little bit over time, but I don't care. But yeah, like, with Pikmin 4, going back to that real quick, I'm just so excited for that because, man, like, I love Pikmin, and the funny thing about it is that I've been saying for a while that I've been wanting to try and finish the last of the Pikmin games on my channel. Because back in like 2017 or so, I was wanting to do Pikmin 2 before Hey Pikmin came out, so I can at least say that I have a finished series on the channel. But then Hey Pikmin came out and no Pikmin 2 Let's Play, so yeah, that was a little bit on the unfortunate side. And now it's several years later, and we still haven't Let's Play Pikmin 2 yet, so that's a fun time. I don't know, maybe sometime soon. So let's go over here and defeat that guy. These dogs, I gotta say, they are like some of the most annoying enemies in this entire game because they're like one of the only ones in the entire game that I like outright require you to use a dodge roll. Because, well, it's not a requirement, but it is super annoying because dodge roll otherwise is completely useless in this game. So the fact that they have that enemy out of nowhere and its attack pattern, well, they'll charge after you even if you do run away and things like that, like you can with most enemies. It's not exactly the most pleasant experience at all, and it's the only enemy like this in the game, so, like, what the heck? Alright. Okay, there we go. Alright, the trick with it is that you want to start doing the dodge roll before they really have a chance to start moving, because once they start moving, that's kind of it's gonna be a bit too late for you to start running away and things like that, so you'll definitely want to watch out for that. Alright, do that, dodge roll, and go like that. I remember during my Let's Play, like, I was freaking out because I was super excited that the dodge roll was actually useful for once, so that was a fun time. And that Let's Play was a long time ago. That was like 2015, so, man, that was a long time ago. Yeah, I'm old. Alrighty then, let's head over here, continue on this way, and we got squeezed. We got squeezed, and I did not like that. Okay, we're gonna charge to the rest of this level because I'm kind of in a bit of a hurry to get things moving so we can start playing other games on the stream. So let's continue over here. And if anybody in the stream chat would like to suggest a game for us to play a little bit later, in the description below we have a link to the RNG list for Random Number Gaming. So you can look through there, you can pick through a game, and if it's something that I'm interested in, then we'll try it out and things like that. So that's gonna be a fun time. Now this right here has got to be one of the more interesting bosses in the game, which isn't really saying that much because I don't really like most of the bosses in the game, but this one is just really funny because it's like a Grim Reaper pumpkin guy, but every now and then the robe will open, and it's just like one of the generic sheeps that you'll see throughout the game. So it's like the sheep are getting revenge on you for destroying them, because whenever you defeat a sheep, it drops a dragonfly for your... It drops a butterfly for a dragonfly to eat and things like that. So it's pretty amusing that the sheeps are like kind of getting revenge and things like that. So that's pretty amusing. I'm saying amusing way too much. I apologize for that. My speech patterns are repetitive. And we did it! Yay! We kind of 100% of this level, except we didn't. And that is Spyro the Dragon. This is like a... Man, how many years was it? Like... It's like a near 4-year payoff, honestly, playing this on stream. Because back when we were first starting to do live streams, this was the first game that I wanted to do. But during that stream, my capture card was just running like a piece of poo. So, like, it wasn't working that well with OBS running at the same time. So we eventually later switched over to Super Mario 3D Land instead. So that was an interesting time. But now we've taken care of that, we're in the stream off here. We're going to move over towards Xenoblade Chronicles. So I'll be back in a moment. And we're back for the next game, Xenoblade Chronicles. Others Productions was asking for Epic Mickey. So after we're done with this lineup, we're gonna play through that one. That's the beginning of the first lineup and things like that. So that'll be fun. Sorry for the music jump scare. Like, yeah, sorry about that. Alright, so Xenoblade Chronicles. This is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. Like, honestly, this is probably like top 3 favorites, honestly. Like, I'd rank it Earthbound. Okay, ignore this, so. Alright, let's start again. Pretend you don't see anything that may or may not be, stuff that you're not supposed to see if you start a new file and things like that. Let's collect some treasure, because we got some stuff synced up from Xenoblade 2, so that's pretty fun. Alright, so I will be quiet during this opening cutscene, but then after that we're going to start the timer and we'll start playing for the next 20 minutes.
Long ago, the world was nothing more than an endless sea, cloaked in a boundless sky, reaching as far as could possibly be imagined. Then 2 great titans came into existence. The Bionis and the Mechonis. The Titans were locked in a timeless battle. Until at last, only their lifeless corpses remained. Eons have passed. Now, our world, this vast land stretching across the remains of the Bionis, is under attack from a relentless force known as the Mechon. Advancing down our weak right flank. For a bunch of soulless machines, they seem to know a thing or two. But we'll see.
Young man, we've been given the order to retreat. We're pulling back the line to Colony 6. That's where we'll set up the last line of defense.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Any more time spent hanging around here, and we're done for.
Count me in. We gotta get out of here.
Or we can stay and fight.
What?
We may die if we take a stand here, but staying gives us the chance to change our destinies. We have the Monado. With this, the future is ours for the taking.
Stupid beast. Your body can't take any more of the Monado. I can tell by just looking at you.
Getting short-sighted in your old age, Dixon. I'm fine. Don't worry, I'm still in control.
I should have known I couldn't talk sense into a beast. Let's do this. I'm going with you. You'll need someone to drag your corpse on.
As long as you think you've still got the strength in you, old man.
Oi, you two. We've been ordered to pull back. I'm leaving.
Well, I say you're coming with us. What would we do without those?
The enemy's second wave is approaching.
It's now or never, Dunban. Let's show them what we've got. We'll give them a warm Hom's welcome.
Acknowledged.
Yeah. Ha. What are they trying to prove? I'm not throwing my life away. No point dying in some godforsaken field. Nothing for it. I'll have to use Dunban as a decoy. Yeah, that should give me time to escape.
And that's the big reason why I want to start a new playthrough for Random Number Gaming, because the opening cutscene for this game is just all kinds of awesome. Alright, so starting off the battle over here, we are introduced to a couple new gameplay mechanics and things like that. So basically the idea behind this is that is it gonna let us do things? Okay, it wasn't letting us do things for a moment. So after your arts charge up at the beginning of the battle, you'll have two options at the beginning. Monado Enchant will allow our party members to be able to fight the Mechon, while the Monado Buster will allow us to directly attack them. So the big thing about the Monado is that it's the only weapon known to be able to hurt the Mechon. That's the metal robot guys that we're fighting right here. So for whatever reason, the Monado is the only thing that can hurt them, and nobody currently knows why. So... and like, the only person in the world who can currently wield the Monado is Dunban, who's quite literally the man of everybody's dreams, no matter who you are. So we go over here and we'll be fighting these jerks. You usually want to start with enchant so that your party members can help them. That isn't the only way you can hurt them though. There's a status effect called Topple, which you'll be able to use to knock down an enemy, and during that, I believe that will allow you to hurt the Mechon too, even if you don't have enchant on or anything like that. It probably isn't all that super worth it though, at least this early on, because you already have the Monado and things like that. So yeah, like it definitely is something to, more so to keep an eye out for a little bit later. But as for right now, that's kind of not super important. All right, we're going to use the Monado Buster, and how you recharge things. You'll be doing an auto attack as you go across the battlefield. Now, your position for the enemy is important for later, because some of your attacks are going to... well, we should have done Buster right there. Some of your attacks are going to be better if you'll be behind the enemy or on the side of them or things like that. That definitely is something to keep in mind. Now, I probably am not going to watch all these cutscenes and things like that, because I would like to get a move on with the game. So we're going to continue onwards and things like that, and just continue on a merry way through our path of glory. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head where I'm currently at in my other playthrough of this, so that's something that would probably, like, I've been thinking about going back into that one real quick to show off a bit more of the world, but if it's a little bit too late into the game, I might not do that, because I don't want to show any spoilers or anything like that. It's kind of bad enough that we showed the title screen. Like, it may not seem like much, but that title screen kind of does spoil a couple things, so I do apologize for that. I didn't see that one coming. Third strike would inflict a break. That is going to be the first step to toppling the enemies. Whenever an enemy is suffering from break, you'll have another party member who'll be able to inflict a topple on them, and then you'll be able to do like a lot more damage that way. There's basically like a lot of chain commands like that that help you fight enemies and things like that. So as for my history of the Xenoblade series, I knew about Xenoblade way before it was cool. So there were articles, I think it was on Zelda Wiki or something like that, that was talking about a fan campaign to bring 3 Nintendo games over to North America. This was a thing called Operation Moonfall. And the basic idea behind that was that there were 3 RPGs that a lot of people were looking forward to that Nintendo of America decided not to localize. They were Xenoblade Chronicles, Pandora's Tower, and The Last Story. All of which are kind of, well, the last two are kind of hard to come by nowadays, but back then, Xenoblade was a pain to find, because when the game finally did get localized, it was a GameStop exclusive, and I think they only got one shipment of it for like the longest time. So it launched at $60, which is really high for a Wii game. And here's the thing about that. When I found the game, it was probably the best possible time I could have ever found the original Wii version. Because when I found it, even though it was like within the same week that the game launched in North America, they was already marked it down to $50 rather than $60, because this one was a used copy. So I went in there with $60. I was like, okay, this is $50. What can I use the rest of the $10 on? And I used that to get Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. And less than a week later, I go back to the store to get another game because there's something else coming around the time I was looking forward to. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was. But there was another game that I was looking forward to, and I went back to the store, and I saw that the same GameStop was charging $90 for Xenoblade now. So when I saw that and saw how long they kept charging $90 for this game, I was like, yeah, I'm pretty happy I picked up this game when I did. So, yeah, like, I love Xenoblade. This is easily one of my favorite RPGs of all time. If it wasn't for, like, a bunch of other things not exactly related to the games, I think this would probably be my absolute favorite RPG ever. Like, probably higher than Earthbound, honestly. But Earthbound just really is a special game to me, so it's like a little bit higher on that list. And I always go back and forth over which Xenoblade game is my personal favorite, because I think the story for the first game is better. I think the story of this one is the best in the series. Like, I don't know about Xenoblade 3 yet, because I haven't played that far into that game. But Xenoblade, the first Xenoblade, like, I love the story of this game. And even though it's a pretty long game, I have replayed it several times and things like that. I think I like the gameplay of Xenoblade 2 just a little bit more. Is there audio for the game? Okay, there is. It's just that not looking like it's coming through very well. Let me know in the stream chat. Can you guys hear the game audio okay? Because on my end, the little bar thingy that shows the audio channels isn't really picking up the game that much, so I don't know how well you can hear the game. But yeah, this thing that's coming up over here, this is another thing I'm going to be quiet for, because this is probably one of the best parts of the entire game, honestly.
What the hell are you playing at?
Uh-oh. The Colonel's gonna explode.
Crashing the mobile artillery into a house. How long have you been in the force?
Sorry, sir. It's just that we were trying to go as fast as we could, like you ordered. But it's impossible to get back to the military district in only 40 seconds.
I don't want any excuses. Champions don't whine. They win.
Yes, sir.
You're a disgrace to the uniform! Are you forgetting the shame you brought on this force during joint maneuvers with Colony 6? Stick your back into it, maggots! Move it!
Yes, sir.
Get the artillery back to the military district, double time! Then I want 1,000,000 press-ups from both of you, and you better not stop until your biceps explode!
Colonel, we can't move the artillery.
What? You better give a damn good reason why.
Sir, the impact of the crash damaged the ether conduction cable. The ether fuel proceeded to leak out, and now the cylinder is empty.
Well, change the cylinder then. Can't you even do something as simple as that?
The auxiliary cylinders have all been used up. It'll be 3 days until more come in, sir.
I told you to keep a stock of fuel in reserve.
Sorry, sir.
You're nothing but slackers!
Same old Colonel. At this rate, the men will all be dead before they see any action.
This guy's the best character in the game. He's not in the story for very long, but he is like top tier Xenoblade characters ever. So A detail that I really like is that if we go over here, we can see the soldiers doing their morning workout routine things and things like that. This is the only point in the entire game we can actually see Ryan with them. Beyond this point, he's always going to be in your party, but if you go over here this early in the game, you can actually see him there, so that's like a really cool detail that I always appreciate about this. So, yeah, like I always go back and forth over which Xenoblade is my favorite, because like, I've wanted to do the Xenoblade Let's Play forever. The problem though is that it would take forever to do one, and there's a bunch of them, like there's 2 of them, so like, I don't know which one I want to do first though, because I love both games, both of which would be like a huge time commitment to record though, so I'm not entirely sure which one I would want to do first. Alright, so on screen right now we have our first waifu, Fiora. Or Fiona, or Fiora. Yes, that's her name. So, Fiora, she's adorable, and she's kind of hot, so she's best covered in the game. So if we go over here, we saw in the cutscene that we skipped that Dunban is over here. Dunban is the hero from the beginning of the cutscene. He's Fiora's older brother, and the use of his Monado caused him to lose the use of his right arm. So that's a bit on the unfortunate side. So over here, a really cool detail is that we can see an area that was originally completely unused in the game. So that right there, that is the Bionis left shoulder. That was a region in the game that was originally not in the game at all and things like that. I think this is another screenshot from that same place too. So, the Bionis shoulder, there was like a lot of theories about what it was originally supposed to be for the story and things like that. But when Xenoblade Definitive Edition came out, the developers confirmed that it was actually just one of the test areas that they made for the game to see how large of a map that they could make on the Wii. So they made a test area like that, and that's why there's like a lot of beta elements if you were to explore it on the Wii version and things like that. You can get there normally, but with hacking you can still play through the Bionis shoulder. So that's pretty interesting. And then they ended up using it for moments like that where they need a screenshot for something in a house, or a couple moments they will see during the end of the game and things like that. So that's pretty interesting. Now the words are difficult to speak. The reason why they went ahead and brought it back for the Definitive Edition was that they wanted to have a new story for this campaign. Even though Xenoblade Chronicles is already pretty well known for having a very long story, they decided to have like a second story thingy included in the Definitive Edition with Xenoblade Future Connected, which takes place on the left shoulder. And I gotta say, when this game was first announced, I was super excited, because being able to play Xenoblade on Switch was like a dream come true, because it's one of my favorite games of all time. But then at the end of the trailer, when we see the Bionis shoulder, and man, like, that was like a super hype moment for me, because man, being able to explore this location that we've only been able to theorize all this time, it was such a cool moment. Alright then, so yeah, in case you couldn't tell, I really love Xenoblade. So again, I'm not entirely sure which one I'd want to do first though, because they're all huge time commitments, and not just because that they're very long games, it's also because I'm not entirely sure if I want to go for 100% on them, because to put things into perspective, the first Xenoblade has 480 side quests, and a lot of them are choice and consequence, so you get different rewards depending on different routes and things like that, which would be very, very complicated to record. And the Xenoblade 2, that one has like a bunch of blades with their own dedicated side quests and things like that, and you get those blades from a gacha system. So 100% Xenoblade 2 would also be kind of a pain as well. And this is coming from somebody who had 100% that game twice, so yeah, like, I definitely do want to Let's Play Xenoblade at some point. I just don't know which one I want to do first though. Alright, so this entire area, the really cool thing about the world of Xenoblade is that this place takes place on the Titan of the Bionis. So this entire area, this entire place, this is the back of the leg of the Bionis. So I think we might not be able to see it very well, but up there, that's the leg and things like that. Later in the game, we'll be able to explore the Bionis knee. That's where Gyro Plains takes place. And then there's the head of the Bionis, and then with the other shoulder is like a giant forest. So, actually that's the back of the Bionis. So, yeah, it's just really clever and things like that. So I'm gonna look over and see where we're currently at for the other playthrough. Actually, we're not very far into the game after all. Never mind. So, yeah, let's go for this. Alright, we're switching over to the other thing for a moment. We don't have a lot of time left for Xenoblade, but, yeah, this is the Gyre Plains area. This is the kneecap of the Bionis. Ooh, we're in the middle of a boss fight. Yeah, let's destroy this guy. We're a new game plus, so we can destroy you. Alrighty then. So, one memory that I have with this game is that I remember being just completely awful at the combat system when I first played through this. It would take like literal months for me to be able to beat bosses and things like that. The first time that I beat Xenoblade, like, it took like a really, really long time to actually be able to do it. Eventually I was able to do it, so that was kind of neat. I think of all the games, I think I've replayed Xenoblade 2 more often than the others, but like, I still don't know whether or not I like the first or the second game more. I really do want to get back into Xenoblade 3, because like I keep hearing everybody saying that that one has like an amazing story and things like that, and I'm sure it does. It's just that so far that one has a bit of a really slow start, and I'm having a bit of a hard time getting into that one yet. So maybe like I'm gonna give it a bit more time and things like that. I'm not gonna give up on it because I do eventually want to beat it. It's just that it's kind of difficult to put the time into that one when Splatoon 3 exists, and Persona 5 Royal also came in around the same time on Switch as well, and that one like I've been having an easier time getting into. So that's something that's pretty interesting. That is, I gotta stop saying that. I swear, that's like the 13,000th time that I've said this is pretty interesting on the stream alone. Oh, dang it. That didn't work on you. Oh, no. Oh, this is a terrible time to use a chain attack. Oh, dang it. Oh, never mind. Okay. Let's do the time warp again. Why aren't any of these working? None of those worked during the chain attack. What the heck happened? Well, that's not very nice. Well, at least we're bending up the chain attack again. So, that's at least a little something. Do we need to have the... We need a chance activated. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, no, never mind. I'm a dumb. I am a dummy dumb. So, yeah, some bosses like this one, you don't actually knock down all their HP or anything like that. It's just that you'll go to a certain point and then the cutscene triggers and then the story will continue. So, yeah, that's a thing that can happen every now and then. Alright then, so we're gonna go a little bit further, and actually I think I can demonstrate this right now. So in area maps, this is what I was talking about earlier. So we can see the icon right there showing where exactly on the Bionis body the locations are located at. So we'll see the Colony 9 is located on the back of the leg, the Tefra Cave is located inside the leg itself, and the Bionis leg is on like the femur bone. So that's pretty interesting. One of my favorite details in this game, though, is that the sun is always located in the same exact spot in the sky, and then it gets covered up by clouds and becomes nighttime and things like that. So the really cool thing about that is that because of that, it's always the same exact temperature throughout the entirety of the Bionis and things like that. So the back of the Bionis is like a really hot, warm, tropical climate because it's the closest part of the Bionis to the sun. But the shoulder that's in the shadow of the Bionis head is the coldest part of the region because it has the least amount of sun. So that's like the frozen mountain location, and I really wish I could demonstrate that here. I really, really wish that I was at a point where I could easily demonstrate that. Okay, I'm going to do something. Well, I don't think I can do that now. Okay. I do have another playthrough that is completed. I don't think it'll work to activate that one because I'm pretty sure if we go into that, it'll either take us into the end game where we can't get back to the areas, or... okay, I'm going to try it. I'm going to put the intermission screen on real quick, so that it doesn't show any spoilers or anything like that. Hopefully this will work. Hopefully this will work so we can do stuff. It'll be nice if we can do stuff, because doing stuff is pretty fun. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely happy that I clicked away from the screen. Okay, so, yeah, we're going to switch around and do stuff. I know this game is kind of old and things like that, so it might be a little pointless to avoid spoilers, but I don't care. I love this game way too much to not show spoilers or anything like that. Alright, so... there we go. Okay. Now we're at a good point where we can turn the game back on. Can we... okay. I gotta change it to nighttime. But if I go into the party menu screen, it's going to show a big spoiler, so... changing the time real quick, so it could be nighttime, it could be all pretty and stuff. I swear this is going to be worth it. I swear this will be worth it. There we go. Look, it's all pretty and stuff, and everything's all shiny. Because, like, this area is, like, easily one of my favorite locations in the entire Xenoblade series, because the music here is just absolutely breathtaking. If you ever have the time, definitely look up Valak Mountain Night. It is one of my favorite songs in the entire Xenoblade series. It's just such a beautiful song, and this entire area, just look at how pretty it is. Oh man, like, with all the crystals of beaming light into the sky and the snowy mountains, and just, this is easily one of my favorite places in the entire game. It's just so pretty. Alrighty then, and speaking of pretty sights and things like that, we have Melia on screen, who's like top tier Xenoblade waifu. Yay, Melia, she's awesome! So one of my favorite things about the Xenoblade fan base is seeing how different people play these games on live streams and things like that. Because when this game came out, Nintendo Fangirl was playing through the game, and she had a pretty funny tradition going where like every character was in like the underwear armor and things like that. So, like, it's especially funny in places like this where it's all snowing, things like that, and he'd probably freeze to death, honestly. But then you'll have, like, other people, like Proton John, who was playing through Xenoblade as a donation incentive for the Underguys Coliseum, and things like that, so that's pretty cool. I have considered before, like, doing, like, my own streamed playthrough on this, because I have a lot to say about Xenoblade, and I don't know when a Let's Play would start, so I have considered doing a stream playthrough of the games because, like, I do want to make videos on these games, I just don't know if a Let's Play could happen anytime soon. So, it's definitely something I'm going to be thinking about, because we are going to be doing more streams of series on the channel this year. We're hopefully going to be finishing up Big Mario Sticker Star on the collab channel, and next month we're going to be starting Captain Toad Treasure Tracker 3DS. Like, we did one stream a while ago, but we're going to be restarting that, so that's going to be pretty fun. Over here on this cliff over here, this is going to be where we'll be ending the stream and things like that, or ending the playthrough, and then we'll be switching over to the next game. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And you just see this giant tower over here just sparkling into the night. Just, this game is just so pretty. This is such a pretty game. I feel like if I let's play this game, that would be like 30% of the dialogue and things like that for the commentary and stuff. Alright. These Blexus says I like dragon things. Dragons are awesome. I love dragons. Alright, so the next game is going to be SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. So let's go over here and switch over to the game real quick. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom. Has there ever been another tie-in game for a movie or a TV show that ever got a remake? Because this is a pretty interesting game, because SpongeBob Bikini Bottom, this was a TV show tie-in game, which are kind of notoriously not super great, but this one is like a fan favorite in the genre. So yeah, like that's pretty interesting that they made a game that was based off SpongeBob SquarePants, and you'd think it wouldn't be all that great, but no, it's actually one of the better ones and one of the better platform games on the GameCube era. So yeah.